quickly. That's slow. Like wing. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's been a minute. We are doing some work on the BMW right this second, and then we'll be transitioning to working on the Ford here when it gets kind of darker and we can't work outside. The project I will be working on at this very moment is doing the air oil separator. So I got this hose here to go on the crankcase, and then I have another hose that will go into the inlet side here for the air intake. So that way, as it's, it has crankcase pressure, it'll then go in, the oil will stay on the bottom, and the clean air will go out and back into the intake. At this moment, what's left of this, what was once rubber hose, is being quite stubborn and not wanting to come out. And this is what old rubber turns into.
Alright, so I'm starting to work on tearing out the dash. I just removed the steering column. You gotta remove this kick panel down here that runs across the bottom of the dash. That'll expose a couple screws that you need to do to pull it out. You undo that bottom kick panel, it gives you a little more accessibility to some of these plugs. These are the directionals and high and low beams. This is the ignition here. It has a 7mm bolt running through that bolts into the side of the column. You can't forget about the shifter cable. Now that that's out of the way, my next steps are going to be removing a couple more plugs that are in the back of the firewall right here. Then I got to pull the harness. There should be like 1 or 2 harnesses. Yeah, I'm going to undo this one here. It's a 10mm. Unplug this, push it back into the firewall, and the same with this one. I just got to push these tabs in and then push it out. That will all come out with the dash assembly. Over on this side over here, on the passenger side, it's before you get everything disassembled, you want to unscrew this, it's like a door switch that turns the lights on for the cab, and then I got to pull all this wiring off of the A-pillar here. But basically, when you go to disassemble or pull this dash out, you're going to have an 8mm bolt on the corner, one just underneath the glove box, and then one underneath the 12-volt output, and then you're going to have 4 7mm going across the top of the dash. And then you're going to have 4 15mm bolts that are in this corner here where the emergency brake pedal and stuff goes. Where I left you guys off with the E30, I was working on, what was I working on? I was working on the oil catch can. So let me show you kind of what other things I've done. We come around to the driver's side. We now have the door card in place. I still have to put the little plastic thing. I got to steal it off the old door card over there. Then, if we come underneath, if we give this a little pull, the hood pops up without needing channel locks anymore. Now if you look, right there, we got the oil catch can. I also replaced this line here. I ordered an intake boot, but it wasn't the right one, so I still have to get a correct one of those because this one has a rip in it. And then here's just the route for the oil catch can. I have to reduce it down here. This is just kind of a temporary thing. I have it reducing right here to go into the catch can, but I want to reduce it over here or put a 90 on, like a hard 90, and then get it around, because right now it's kind of kinking here and a little bit under here, but it really won't cause too much of an issue since it's just air that's flowing through it that way. All right, quick little update here. Got the brake pedal and booster out and throttle pedal out. We will go out to the parts truck, and we're basically gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna just take out the dash in this one and get this stripped down, so that way we can get this cab a little bit closer to being ready. Just like that, the parts truck has been dismantled down to its bare bones. Everything looks exactly the same between a 93 gas truck and a 97 diesel, minus like 2 or 3 things. I'll go over them real quick. Biggest one I see is this wire harness is off to the driver's side. It's for like the speakers and the cab light and whatnot. So I'll just have to replace this string of wire that branches off and goes to the back of the cab on both sides. The next being where the pedal bolts in. They're just threaded holes with like welded nuts on the backside. I have to take out the studs that are in the diesel cab and just put those in so that way I can bolt the pedal up. HVAC control up here. They had like a clip. It was like an old style of like piece of plastic and a wire. After doing some comparing, all you have to do is just take a Dremel and cut off this little plastic lip where this like there was like a wire that clipped into here, and then I can just reuse the new assembly on my other truck. It'll still bolt down here, and the actuator still will actuate. So that's about it. All right, it's another night in the garage. Tonight it should be rather short, depending on how things go. My plan is just to remove everything off the firewall of the truck, kind of like how the driver's side's already been done. Don't mind the steering shaft. That's going to fall out when we go to lift the cab up, but I'll get back to that in a moment. Tonight I'm going to be focusing on just removing some of the finer details of the project. Of course, you know, we got the dash out last time. We did some filming, and come to find out, this plug here is a little different, or this setup right here is a little different than on the F-150. So we need to make sure we reuse these wires here. So this harness just runs all the way across the rocker and then comes up to here. This plug goes up to the third brake light and such, and then some speaker wires and stuff and lumbar controls. So we'll get all that pulled out and just thrown into our storage unit in the back here. And then coming around to the other side, the only thing I really got to worry about tonight is just how the AC compressor is set up, or the condenser, one of the two. I do HVAC for a living, but obviously I don't know auto, because I'm sure I'm mislabeling this piece here. But anywho, I gotta take off all the lines. I want to be able to save them. I kind of want to keep this attached to the truck itself. It looks like it's just a clamp and such, but this lower liquid line is routed a little differently than the F-150. The F-150 has like a flexible hose that comes out the bottom and goes all the way, while this is more of a hard line that's pre-bent. So that'll probably be just something that I just get out of the way for now. Another thing I got to do tonight is I got to reuse this feed hose for the washer fluid. This runs behind the cowl, so I'm going to have to take the wiper arms off and then pull the cowl off so I can access all this. And then also remove the wiper motor because it's a little different. One more thing inside the cab is the trans tunnel cover. It's a little, the F-150s don't have this, so due to just the way the transmission's shaped and sized, this is just like a little bump out, so that way the four-wheel drive transmission fits. So far I got the transmission tunnel cover taken off. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, there's actually 9 bolts that hold in the transmission cover tunnel, or the tunnel cover. They're all held in with like these little like sliding clips, and these 3 were rotted out, so the bolts just fell out. Then the other 6 just unbolted just fine. I got the AC compressor out. I got all the wiring taken out from the fan box, the fan, I guess there's a fan motor. I think that's some sort of climate control. The washer fluid pump and some other things were also tied in with that. So I had to wrestle that out from this this hole right in front of the, or right behind the fan box here. It's really just like, it's like a cone-shaped plug, like this right here. This is it. I just had to kind of work it out over this lip, and then I use channel locks and kind of just pull everything out. This will also give me some time to replace or repair these vacuum lines that go from the inside of the cab to the exit point, which is over here. I'm going to have to strip this back a little and splice these vacuum lines to get this actuator to be reconnected, because throughout time this stuff just dry rots and gets old. And see if we can get this to focus. It gets dry rotted, and as you can see, it's all falling apart. So everything's been disconnected. I removed the cowl up top. I removed the wiper arms. That was pretty simple. I pulled out the wiper arm motor. So there's really nothing attached to this cab except for the steering shaft that goes into the cab. But like I said, that's just going to come out when we lift the cab up. And the last thing I have to deal with is this AC line. So this is probably the biggest hiccup I've seen at the moment, between switching between the 93 gas cab to a 97 diesel cab, is this line here. There's a retainer that held these 2 lines together. I got it loose, like I can spin it around, but I can't get it to pop out. So I'm kind of weighing out my options here and trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Maybe do some more research on how to remove this. If not, it looks like this is like a 3/8 line, and I may have a coupling of some sort that I may be able to cut this line here and then make something work if I have to. Oh, the last cab bolt's out. It was a little stuck. You can see some of the rust on the threads. We were fighting it. Impact got us so far, but a lot of torque from the breaker bars here and down below.
Snack.
Rewarded snack is a Cliff Bar. And so next step is we're gonna clip that AC line, and then hopefully I can get my neighbor to help us out with lifting the cab up and getting it out of this garage.
I bet there's a lot. I bet there's a lot of them.
So we Harley and I went up the road, talked to the neighbor. He has a tractor. He's willing to help us. So not going to happen today because he's busy. So tomorrow, at some point, he's going to come by, and he's got some forks. So he'll get underneath the cab, lift it up, and that way we can get this cab out of here, and I can roll this back into the garage to continue with other work. We're going to put the front tires back on. We're going to remove these stilts that are actually holding up the front of the cab. And then we're going to just kind of get everything cleaned up, so that way tomorrow when my neighbor shows up, he can, it's 7/8 for the sockets. We're going to just roll this truck out. He's going to scoop the cab up, drop it off somewhere next to the donor truck, and then roll it back in and continue working. All right, guys, it's the next day. I got the truck all set up and ready for it to be pulled out. Here comes the neighbor now with this tractor, and I got the driveway cleared out, so let's see how well this goes. Well, folks, we now have a rusted Ford cab outside. What a great feeling this is, getting this finally out of the garage. Worked out pretty well. My neighbor had a tractor with some forks. He was able to get one fork underneath the seat area, and then this other one just onto the other side of the transmission tunnel. We then took a chain, threw it around the roof, and then hooked it to the A-pillar, and we were able to lift it off. And we just rolled the truck back inside, and here we have the next phase of the project. So now that the cab is off, it's going to stay off for a while, and we're going to be doing some motor work. Leave you guys off with that. The truck is now one step closer to being done, even though it doesn't really look like it. But I appreciate you guys watching these videos. It means a lot to be able to do this and show you guys every step of the process. And hopefully we can get this truck back on the road and running great, and hopefully all in one color at some point. So stay tuned for more videos, guys. And I'll see you on the next one.